Hello everyone! Welcome back to Drawn by Annie channel. This is me, Annie, and I will be drawing for you today. Grab your tea, coffee and snacks and let's dive into today's video. Today I'm going to work on something that is going right out of my comfort zone because I'm not used to drawing male characters a lot, so I decided to give it a little bit of practice as well as work on a character that is actually one of my friend's character. If you've been a while on my channel, you have seen me draw other characters from a roleplay game system named Shadowrun, and since me and my friends we sometimes play different RPGs, tabletop roleplay games, we tend to make new characters and play for fun, and it just happens to be that I like to draw characters. So I usually am the volunteer to draw characters for the whole party. I usually ask for some criterias or like how the player sees their character, and I'm making the appearance for them and the drawing as well. So this time I haven't been working with any reference, but just textual description of the player that owns this character. So I kind of had to go and look for references myself, and of course I had an approval from the player, so here I am illustrating a character named Filian. I have already illustrated a couple of characters from the same party, my own character Mai and my bestie's character Yu, and I actually recorded a video of a third character, but it never came out because apparently I deleted it by accident, so yeah, no video on that one, but I'm going to share the finished result in one of my social media posts probably. So this is going to be the final party member that is actually a netrunner or a hacker or decker. This specific type of character is good with technology, and they are usually the ones who are hacking stuff for the party, like other people's smartphones, which are called comlink in Shadowrun world, and they are using Dex, which is an analog for the tablet for hacking, and like a personal computer with some extra software which are usually written by the decker themselves. So yeah, Filian is this type of character who would do the matrix exploration, hacking, information digging and stuff like that, you know. But you might think they are probably so vulnerable in the fight or in terms of like a conflict or stuff. No. In a world like Shadowrun or Cyberpunk, there are a lot of technologies implemented in everyday life, which is not only like a smart technology like we have now, but imagine a future where parts of your body are actually maintained not by the doctors but by mechanics. So literally that's what is happening in Shadowrun and Cyberpunk in general. So it turns out to be like a big chunk of everyday life, not only for the mercenaries and soldiers, but also for common folks or even office workers. Like there are tiny little implants that are just making things easier. Like imagine a smart connection to your phone without having to pick it out of your pocket. You can just connect virtually through your brain and just, you know, hang out in social media or whatever. So imagine in a world like this, a hacker who can quite literally brute force himself into your personal cyber world and wreck every little detail and just turn the whole place upside down, steal all your personal data and then just disappear without any trace. Or let's say we are in the middle of a gunfight with drones or guys with implant hands and guns inside of their limbs, and this little guy sits in a corner and just hacks everything and quite literally stops the fight because nobody has their gun in working condition anymore, their limbs are not moving, and also their eyes can see. So yeah, deckers and hackers are really scary in this world, and Filian is one of those, and I'm glad to have him on our side in our party and work for our cause, not against us. And a funny little detail about Filian is that he's actually a famous streamer. Even though he's not showing his real face, he's like a VTuber sort of streamer, but he has his fan base, and sometimes those fans actually helped us out. Like there's the mechanic where he can recruit a bunch of fans and do some sort of flash mob or something like that. And that literally could save us some trouble or like distract attention, which can also be very tactical in a fiction world when you're playing a literal gangster or underground worker, let's say. We didn't play for long in this current campaign that is like a halfway through, but whenever it was a security question or like removing traces of our existence, Filian was like perfect cherry on top. Like imagine a party going inside a hotel doing all the stuff that they needed to do, like a special delivery, and then disappearing traceless as if they were never there. Amazing. So for this sketchbook spread, I wanted to practice another time with acrylic paint pens and draw something graphical with rough shading, because that's how I usually draw in digital art, and I wanted to kind of try out the same specific technique in traditional art, and I think that acrylic paint pens are a perfect fit for this specific task of mine, as I don't have a lot of markers in my collection, so I have to pick carefully a color for the shading and the base color, like a main color. And these type of limits actually help me think more carefully with picking the colors. So I figured that would be a good practice for me. And I also wanted to try a simple color palette, something pinkish, bluish. So I just went online and looked up for the reference or like inspiration image for the color palette and found a perfect balance between those colors actually, because Filian has black hair, so it's pretty easy to fit this type of character into a colorful environment. So I decided to go for blue for background and pink for his outfit and also shading on his face. I tried to mark the darkest part of the shadows with the same pink marker that I used for the clothing, but I also wanted to make like half tones for his face. So I used another pink color that is slightly lighter than the darker one and made like a half tones whenever I felt they are applicable. And I think that I reached a middle ground in between like very rough shades and soft shades so that the volume of the face is shown pretty accurately. The only thing that is still quite challenging for me is to make the lip color more neutral, because I don't want to make it look like his lips have makeup on. That's the only issue that I have, so I just have to build a little bit more layers on top of that. I'm trying to kind of go back and forth with layering lighter and darker colors and see where I can stop so the color of the lip would be more or less neutral, not too pink or not too pale. I guess this comes from my large alcohol-based marker collection, where I could literally choose whatever color that I need, and it would probably be in my collection because I think I have over 100 of markers. So yeah, when it comes to making a picture with only acrylic paint pens, I am still struggling with mixing up the correct color that I need for certain parts of the character design. So just in case you have any tips for me, you can leave them down below in the comments, because I could really use some help here. I can't really find much tutorials about blending colors with acrylic paint pens, so my current drawings are mostly with very rough shading and lighting, or if I don't find a suitable technique for blending, I will just try and adapt my style for the rough shading. I guess that could also work. I think I'm gonna try experimenting with those techniques, and I'm gonna probably make a video about that, so subscribe and stay tuned for that type of video. So anyway, when I'm more or less happy with the base color and the shadows, I'm going to land some line art, and for that one I'm going to use my liners and maybe a little bit of a brush pen. Since the character is a little bit messy, I think the messy art style will also fit the drawing itself, so I'm gonna be leaving myself some freedom when I'm doing the line art. And when I was working on You character spread, I really liked how the uncolored character fits into the background that is fully colored and has most of the details. So I decided to keep the close-up face of Villian on the left side of the spread uncolored and keep it like sketched and a little bit outlined. That kind of gives away the manga style, because manga is usually not colored, and as you can see, Villian has Asian facial features, so this could also be like a way to express the culture of the character, or like a background of the character, I guess. So I think I will just leave it that way, maybe clean it up a little bit with my eraser, but mostly keep the pencil sketch with some messy line art on top, so the whole spread has a little bit of variety and interest. And no, I'm not afraid of overloading this spread with details and too much colors. No, no, no. Well, maybe a little bit, but don't tell anybody. And now is my favorite part of the drawing, adding the white little stripes and finishing touches to the whole spread. Little sparkle here, little detail there. And with this, I'm officially finishing this spread. Ta-da! I really like this messy type of style, so I think I'm going to do more arts like that in the future. So if you like my work, give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to this channel, and I hope I will see you in the next one. Bye bye!